Namaskar, I'm Devdeep Purkayastha from the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. Welcome to the Career Development Workshop number 1, Grow Yourself. Before I get into the module itself, do have a look at what late Ratan Tata said. Do not wait for opportunities to come to you. Create your own opportunities. And the essence of this workshop is actually to help you create your own opportunities, whether you're a student or an entrepreneur or a working professional. You may be doing well in your student life or your corporate life or your startup. But if you're going like this, maybe through this workshop, you can accelerate your pace of your career or your startup or your business. Just to remind, this is the flow of the workshop. We started with your becoming self-aware. You're assessing yourself for your strengths, your opportunities, your likes, your dislikes, your beliefs, your aspirations. And then you talked about how do you set your personal goals. You can live your career or your life without goals. And whatever comes your way, that's good. And you'll progress, nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it helps if very clear, smart goals backed by specific action plans. So very focused on what you're trying to do. And in the last module, I talked a lot about how you can write a book, how you can learn to swim, etc., by setting goals. This module is about having set your goals, how do you acquire relevant, required, targeted skills. And then in the next 2 modules, we talk about how you network and connect, because in your career, it's not enough to be good. You have to be able to network, connect with a wide body of people. We'll talk that. And then in the last module, we'll talk about how do you create a great personal brand, which is what everybody knows you about. So this is module 4, acquiring relevant skills. So why do you have to acquire new skills, different skills, or greater level of skills? Because there is a lot of progress around you. The world is moving on. Economics are changing, society is changing, geopolitics is changing, above all, technology is changing. And that means that the company which has worked in a certain way for the last 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, also has to change. So if the company has to change, the people in the company have to change. For example, artificial intelligence is something which has just come in the last 2-3 years. It's going to change a lot of the way companies work. Similarly, if you look at 20-30 years back, automation and robotics came in a big way. Then internet came in a big way. IoT came in a big way. All of this changed the way companies work. And therefore, company employees have to change. And that's why you have to reskill, upskill. If you're a student, what you are learning in, let's say, engineering today may be obsolete 2-3 years' time because new technologies have come up. So again, you have to reskill and upskill. Now, what are skills? Skills can be hard skills, but it also soft skills. What are hard skills? Physics, chemistry, maths, engineering, medicine, finance. Those are hard skills. What are the soft skills? Communication, leadership, empathy, connecting with other people, etc. And if you don't have the right skills for tomorrow and you continue with the skills of yesterday or today, chances are your career will slow down. And therefore, the flip side of setting goals is to acquire new skills or different skills or better skills. Skill development will also give you a lot of confidence. You may be a star student today and know all the latest best in computer science today. But trust me, in 5 years' time, the whole science of computers and digital would have changed. And if you have not kept pace, you will be outcompeted by someone who is a student now and passing out 5 years later. So you can get disrupted by your juniors, because your juniors will be more up to date than yourself. And if you look at the bottom, you'll see that a data scientist who would have been state of the art maybe 5 or 10 years before cloud computing came in and some of those algorithmic applications came in, that data scientist who is cutting edge 5 or 10 years back, unless he learns AI and cloud computer and other things, he will be obsolete and your career will stall. And people who are younger than him will disrupt him and go ahead in the career. And therefore, you have to keep skilling, reskilling, upskilling. So how do you acquire relevant skills? Remember, relevant skills. If you want to be a cardiologist, you don't have to learn every medical science. You have to focus on cardiology. If you want to be a digital marketer, you have to focus on digital marketing skills. No point in learning everything. And therefore, it's very important that you focus on relevant skills, which will come from when you have set your personal goals. So once you have got your goals, which I talked about in the previous modules, you have to now identify what are the skills that I need to achieve those goals and those action plans. Once you've got the skills, the gaps especially, the skills that you don't have or the skills you need to build, you have to enroll into target programs. Not just general programs, not just any program. Programs on skills that you need to achieve your goals. And then create a learning routine. You may have a job. You may have a startup. But you still need to take time to develop yourself. Maybe half an hour every day, 1 hour a day, 2 hours a week, 1 week a month, 5 weeks, 3 weeks, a year. You still have to invest that time on yourself. And you have to practice, practice, practice. We'll talk about how to practice in public, in private. You also have to test and benchmark. You have to look at the industry best. So if you are founding a startup, you have to look at all the successful founders. You have to probably attend industry forums, etc., and listen to the best and benchmark yourself against the batch. So if the best in the world is here and you are here, then you know the gap. But you also should benchmark yourself against your peers. Are you falling behind or are you getting ahead of your peers? And then seek mentorship. For skilling, it's very important to seek mentorship, especially if you have passed out of college, because then you don't have a teacher or a professor. So you need to get mentors. So find some ideas to build skills. As I said, versus your goal, identify 3, 4, 5 skill gaps. And then smart objectives to acquire those skills is very helpful. So set time-bound objectives to acquire these skills. Don't try to learn everything at one time. Maybe focus on 1 or 2 skills at a time, and maybe a basket of 5 skills, whether you want to be a chartered accountant or a marketing person or a salesperson, or you want to run a factory. And then you enroll in courses. We'll look at some examples of courses that you can enroll in. If you have the time, attend in-person courses. For example, especially singing, dancing, the performing arts, it's good to take in person. If you want to be an actor, take acting classes. Those are best if you do it in person. But a lot of things can also be online. And for the rest of your life, be into the mode of continuous learning. Maybe you should learn one thing every quarter, every 3 to 6 months. Maybe enroll in a course. Maybe skilling in terms of negotiations, or simpler things like time management, public speaking, project management. All of these you can enroll into skills, programs that are available online or in person, and then practice. You can practice in front of the mirror. As I've spoken earlier, you can record yourself. You can shoot yourself. You can take feedback from your friends, family, peers, well-wishers. Also, you can practice in public, especially in public speaking. Try to speak in public forum. If you're singing, sing in some events in your neighborhood or in a club, but practice. Build a learning routine. Many people who want to learn singing, dancing, do it early in the morning or maybe late at night. If you're training to run a marathon, you can go for runs early in the morning. So create a learning routine, and as I said, seek mentorship. So I talked about in-person coaching and classes. For example, if you want to do bodybuilding, you may want to have a trainer in a gym. But a lot of the skills you can also learn on online platform. In India, the very good platform, for example, SWAYAM, NPTEL, this workshop is on the NPTEL Plus platform. So there are platforms like that. If you look at the numbers of courses that are available on the SWAYAM platform from top colleges, top IITs, IIMs, etc., there's a large number of courses, thousands of courses. But more importantly, please see how many learners are there, the learning base. There are crores of people who are building skills. So if crores of people in India are building skills and you are not building skills, you will fall behind. Many of the people who are building skills are testing themselves through taking examinations, getting certificates. So doesn't it make sense for you to also build your skills, get certificates? Certificate means that you are qualified in that skill. Others will fall behind. And I wanted to show you these numbers and these platforms so become aware of what's going on outside. But there are other platforms, the private sector platform, multinational platforms like Coursera, etc. But go ahead with whichever platform you like, but go ahead and build your skills. As always, I would now like to request you to spend just 30 minutes of quality time to assess your skill building program, your personal skill building program. Based on the goals that you set, what skills do you need? Maybe 1 this month, 2 in the next quarter, maybe 2 or 3 next year. What are the most important skills, most relevant skills, which will support your goals, which will help you go ahead in your career? But do this when you can step back from your busy life, think for 30 minutes and write down in your personal daily journal or your career journal, but what will you do to build your skills? Will you do in-person classes, online classes, etc.? And again, we'll talk about an assessment scorecard, your self-assessment scorecard in the last module. But this is where you can identify what you need to do. On the first column, you can see all the steps of acquiring relevant skills, and then you can look at the ratings. Are you doing it well, not so well, are you average? And like I've said before, you may be not doing any of these things when you start today. Some of you may actually be doing it. Some of you may be doing it partly, but maybe not in a structured way. But if you practice this skill building exercise routine and build this into your daily life, trust me, 1 year later, skill building will be your natural self. Just like wake up in the morning and go to college or go to office, you'll wake up in the morning and say, okay, let's build this skill. Here's my skill building plan. Let's improve myself. And I can guarantee you, if you practice this routine over 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you will be growing yourself continuously. And what you are today, and you keep improving every day, every day, every day, every day. After 1 or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, you will be a hugely more capable, more successful self. So with that, good luck, namaskar, thank you.